Diemo Schwarz has an idea which is between musical instrument and compositional tool. And I really want to see what that is. Diemo, do you want to tell us about your project?
Okay. Yeah, so this is a software that is out of research I'm doing here at IRCAM. And I'm presenting it partly a little bit from a research perspective, but partly also from the perspective of a musician that I am, using that tool in performances, improvisations, ranging from noise to ambient stuff. And yeah, it's up, cool. And so the software is called CataRT, for Concatenative Resynthesis in real time. And it allows you to browse through timbre spaces. And in this third part of this little presentation, you will see the tangible bit where I'll be using just a contact mic on this table to actually browse through or articulate lots of sounds very immediately, very intimately. And in between, we will have a little live performance with a twist, I hope. And so this CataRT software is based on a principle I devised lots of years ago in my PhD thesis, corpus-based concatenative synthesis, borrowed, of course, from many influences from speech synthesis, and many other people have had this pretty similar ideas. And it is all about making a large corpus of sound interactable, so to say. So we want to enhance the interaction with digital sound, but we also prefer to use real sound, like from recordings, from instruments and field recordings and whatever, voices. But of course, to make this playable, we need to control it somehow, and control it live, and not just by cutting and pasting in post-prod or whatever. And our way to crack this problem of using real sound with its own inherent temporal structure and making it controllable again is using sound descriptors. So we kind of analyze each little bit of sound for its timbral characteristics. And so we know what each little bit of sound sounds like, and so then we can order them in the interface, in a graphical interface. Sorry. And that allows us to browse through this corpus of sounds by timbre, by the sound descriptors we want to hear, like going from low brilliance, muddy sounds up to very, very brilliant sounds, and then mounting the volume and so on. And more from a compositional and sound design point of view, corpus-based synthesis allows very efficiently to work with really loads of sounds, put them all in a corpus, and then just by one little traversal of that corpus, you know where different sound characters are, and you can pick them you can pick just the right timbre you need for your sound design task, or a movie or game sound. Yeah, and of course, I'm using lots of gestural controllers, like accelerometers on an iPad, could be whatever. Here's a 2D touch surface with pressure, and you will see in the third part that just the contact microphone. And so I think it's just easier to see than to explain. And I hope my patch has started up correctly by now. I'll just be throwing in a few sounds that are going to be analyzed, chopped up into little pieces and analyzed. Thank you. Do you have a mic stand, maybe?
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Should have. So, and this is where it was not working just a few minutes ago.
There we go.
good to use the hands. Okay. And as a backup, nope. And as a backup, I have a wonderful standalone application. You will see that that paradigm bears a lot of resemblance to granular synthesis, just that in granular synthesis, all your control is basically where in one sound you want to play back grains. And here you can choose the grains also by their sound characters, by timbre. Okay, so again, throw in a few voice sounds. And they should get analyzed. We just need to tell this guy which sound card to use. Okay, that's better. So here you see the sounds coming in, being analyzed. Make the points larger. And like now, each little dot on display is one bit of sound of a quarter of a second. Let's use loudness to know where we are. And then, hope it's not too loud. All these little bits of speech get put according to their values in. Here it's Italian, for example, periodicity from bottom to top. So here you have all the sounds and the more tonal sounds. Which are the vowels. Of course, I could use, like, for example, the pitch and the loudness. And then maybe throw in some more sounds. Just try to start up another version of the live patch. And so more sounds. Maybe some wind sounds might be nice. Here I might use just slightly longer segments. And so let's just use coloring to distinguish the different sound files. And so I know the red ones would be the just added wind. Nice timbre. If you just think of the wind alone, that's, I think, a pretty significant advance for cinema or game sound design. Replay them without having to cut and paste and look for just that gust of wind you need for one scene or something. Okay, so I think the principle should be hopefully clearer by now. And what is nice about it is that now playing music or composing becomes actually a navigation in that in that space. Here, of course, I use 2D because it's just simpler to use with the mouse, but it could be 3D, 4D, 5D. And so the exploration of that topophony, like Roland Kahn called it before, where sounds are placed in space, is the compositional act. And you can actually try this out because this patch, based on libraries Norbert Schnell mainly developed with the rest of my team at IRCAM, it's free software. That standalone version is available in the IRCAM forum, and there's a new version we're kind of working on at the moment, based on the fantastic Mubu library, also mainly by Norbert Schnell. That is also freely available for Mac MSP, if you have that. And the standalone is for Macintosh. And so, if that version works better, we can try and do a little, maybe 5-minute live improvisation. That's my main use of CataRT in concert. But of course, the purest form is when the live set, or when my instrument uses only sounds from the improviser I'm playing with, or the several improvisers. I do it in duo, but also with a 30-piece improvisers orchestra. And as there's no instrument around here, I might just improvise with you, with the audience, with any sounds you can make in front of that microphone in there. So like maybe keys, or whispering, or talking, or singing, or bottles, or cans, or whatever you brought into that space. Would that be suitable? And so I will record everything that goes on and start to try play stuff back here with that 2D controller, and then adding effects or so. So who wants to start? Emmanuel. Just that sorry. Line check. Bugger. Just 1 second. Line check. No. 1, 2, 1, 2. Should go into 2. A priori, c'est mis. Tu peux tapoter, s'il te plaît? Attends, faut juste que je montre. Bugger. Ça c'est mieux quand même. Tapoter? Yes. Okay. So you see this patch is pretty crowded because that's my live setup. The examples are clearer. Okay, let's go. So as Emmanuel's playing, sound is coming in. One more thing. Now. I didn't start this thing up properly. So, I'll just switch to the third part, start this up properly. So as you've seen, this is all very nice. I'm browsing around here. But this is still very kind of technical. So, you know, you've got these controllers and so on. So it's still more like operating a system rather than playing a musical instrument where the tangible aspects are much stronger. And so to alleviate this, I teamed up with people at Huddersfield, Alexander Harker and Pierre-Alexandre Tremblay, who built a very nice way to creatively use convolution, which means just the boring use for convolution is doing reverb, recording reverb. But you can also use not an impulse response from a room, but you can use a grain from corpus-based synthesis and reverberate it by, for example, interacting with a contact mic on a table. So opening this up again. And so the contact mic sound is what you hear right now. It's pretty boring. But as soon as you load some corpus of sounds, here for the demo I'm using very, very boring UI sounds from Apple. You can listen to them like this. Oops. So that is like kind of playing them back as they are. But using the contact mic, suddenly you can either play them back impulsively or start reverberating them. And this gets much more fun when you're using sounds which do have a little temporal structure, like, clear this, like, for example, let's go to drum sounds. Okay, then no concert. That's the part I didn't prepare properly. Sorry, just bear with me. Okay, let's just throw in some sounds. That's the one. Come on. Yeah. There you go. A little bit more volume. One sound, it doesn't imprint the sound. That's a little bit of is how to change grains while you're playing this. Maybe on a table with key neck tracking the hands. So you do get back to the topophony of having sound laid out in a space, but being able to articulate it with this very intimate interaction on the table. Okay, time's up. Just 2 links here for you to download either the CataRT software or that new extension with using contact mics. Thank you.
Diemo Schwarz, thank you so much.